format, I'm just not used to so many girls speaking about me at one time. I feel like every girl in the tournament is talking about me, calling me out. I honestly could not do this without my team. I'd crumble. Do you know what? I cried pretty much every day this camp, been going through so much, and these guys have kept me stuck together.
Women's MMA has produced some of the coldest knockouts ever caught on camera. And today, we break down the most violent, most shocking, and most savage finishes in the sport's history. Women's MMA has evolved far beyond expectations. And today, the sport is filled with knockouts so powerful, so precise, and so violent that they match anything in men's divisions. For years, some fans believed women couldn't produce highlight reel finishes, but the modern era has made that idea completely outdated.
I don't feel like I've done that yet, so let me clean every single girl out in the 125 division, and then we can talk about going on.
Now we see spinning back fists that send fighters crashing to the canvas, flying knees that land clean enough to silence entire arenas, head kicks that erase consciousness instantly, and punch combinations that end fights before a commentator can finish a sentence. Women's MMA is overflowing with unforgettable knockouts, and these moments have shaped careers, shocked fans, and written history.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everyone that's been there to support me all these years is obviously excited to see me back in, but then a whole new kind of...
Let's begin with one of the most talked about rising stars, Dakota Ditcheva, whose rise has produced some of the coldest finishes of this generation. On June 13, 2024, Dakota stepped into the cage to face Chelsea Hackett, a talented striker known for her aggression and speed. But Dakota did not just beat Chelsea.
I am so excited. These guys have missed me for sure. They've been very vocal on social media, so I'm excited to finally get back in the cage.
She dismantled her with a level of control and violence that made fans instantly realize they were witnessing something special. The fight began with Dakota controlling distance, stabbing low kicks, and timing her punches with perfect accuracy. Chelsea tried to close in, but Dakota responded with a sharp right hand and a punishing low kick before following with the moment that changed everything, a brutal knee to the liver that folded Chelsea instantly. As Chelsea backed up, Dakota pushed forward with a finishing flurry of body shots that left Chelsea unable to defend herself. The referee stepped in quickly, saving Chelsea from further punishment, and Dakota walked away with one of the cleanest body shot knockouts in recent women's MMA history, and that wasn't even her coldest finish. Just a few months later, on November 29, 2024, Dakota returned for the PFL Women's Flyweight Championship final against Taylor Santos, the same Santos who nearly defeated Valentina Shevchenko in a razor-thin UFC title fight. Most expected a tough back-and-forth match, but Dakota had no interest in letting it become competitive. From the opening seconds, Santos attempted to reach for Dakota's legs, hoping to use her grappling advantage, but Dakota made her pay instantly. She reversed positions inside the clinch, fired short elbows with frightening accuracy, and crushed Santos's body with knees. Santos tried desperately to escape, but Dakota's elbows carved through her guard again and again. One knee up the middle landed so cleanly that the commentary immediately reacted, recognizing the fight was seconds from ending. With Santos unable to answer back, Dakota unleashed one final barrage, forcing the referee to stop the fight. The undefeated British striker became the flyweight queen that night, earning one of the most dominant championship knockouts ever seen in PFL history. But Dakota's highlight reel violence is only one part of this story. The women's MMA knockout archive is filled with finishes so brutal and iconic that they've become part of the sport's mythology. Take Jessica Andrade, for example, a short, compact powerhouse whose right hand feels like it was crafted from pure dynamite. When she fought Karolina Kowalkiewicz, a polished Muay Thai fighter, many expected a competitive striking match. But Andrade had other plans. Just moments into the fight, she landed a right hand so explosive that Karolina fell face first into the canvas without a chance to defend herself. The arena gasped, commentators froze, and the knockout instantly became one of the scariest finishes in women's MMA. Karolina had been known for her toughness, but Andrade's power turned toughness into helplessness in a single strike. Then there's Veronica Rothenhausler, who delivered one of the fastest and most shocking knockouts ever recorded. Her fight against Ashley Evans-Smith lasted only a few seconds, just long enough for Veronica to throw a single clean combination. A sharp right hand connected flush, and Ashley dropped immediately, unconscious before she hit the ground. It was over so fast that some fans watching the replay thought the video had glitched, but it wasn't a glitch. Veronica simply delivered one of the fastest knockouts in women's MMA history. And if head kicks are your thing, Sabina Mazo has two of the best ever recorded. The first came against Jamie Thornton, where she landed a clean, devastating high kick with only 10 seconds left in the round. The kick struck like lightning, snapping Thornton's head sideways and leaving her stunned and defenseless until the referee jumped in. But that wasn't enough for Sabina. She repeated the same type of knockout again when she faced Lindsay Williams for the LFA Women's Flyweight Championship. Williams bent forward for a takedown, and Sabina launched a perfectly timed head kick that crashed into her skull and sent her collapsing instantly. Fans immediately compared Mazo to Mirko Cro Cop, one of the greatest head kick artists in MMA history. That's how clean her technique was. Of course, no list of cold knockouts is complete without mentioning Rose Namajunas. On April 24, 2021, in one of the most iconic title fights ever, Rose shocked the world by knocking out reigning champion Zhang Weili with a beautifully disguised head kick. Rose fainted, stepped lightly, then launched a kick that landed flush on Weili's jaw. The champion dropped instantly, unaware of what hit her. Rose followed up with punches, and within seconds the fight was over. The crowd erupted, and Rose became a two-time UFC champion in one of the cleanest title fight knockouts in women's MMA history. Yet sometimes the knockout artist becomes the victim. In a shocking twist, Rose herself was once on the receiving end of another unforgettable knockout, Jessica Andrade's brutal slam at UFC 237. Rose had been dominating the fight technically, piecing Andrade up on the feet with flawless boxing. But Andrade is not a fighter you can write off just because she's losing. She lifted Rose high into the air, turned her sideways, and slammed her into the canvas with such force that the entire arena gasped. Rose went limp immediately, and the referee stopped the fight. It remains one of the most violent slams ever witnessed in the women's divisions. And if rare knockouts excite you, Irene Aldana delivered something almost mythical, an up-kick liver knockout. While on her back during a scramble against Macy Chiasson, Irene launched a perfectly timed up-kick that slammed directly into Macy's liver. Macy collapsed instantly, her body shutting down from the pain. Most fans had never even seen an up-kick to the body used as a finishing strike, making this one of the most creative and savage knockouts ever. Next comes a spinning back fist masterpiece, Zhang Weili's knockout of Joanna Jędrzejczyk in their rematch. Their first fight was a legendary war, but the second ended brutally fast. After several heavy exchanges, Weili timed a spin perfectly and delivered a back fist that cracked Joanna cleanly and sent her crashing to the mat like a falling tree. Joanna's body went stiff instantly, and just like that, one of the greatest female fighters of all time was knocked out cold. Another masterpiece came from Valentina Shevchenko, the queen of precision, when she defended her flyweight title against Jessica Eye. Valentina disguised her setup perfectly. She threw a body kick earlier in the fight, conditioned Eye to expect it, and then went high with the exact same motion. Eye never saw it coming. The kick connected cleanly, shutting off her lights instantly. The commentators knew it was over the moment the sound echoed through the arena. Valentina Shevchenko's knockout of Jessica Eye wasn't just a finish, it became one of the most replayed, most analyzed, and most feared head kicks in women's MMA history. The sound of the kick echoed throughout the arena, and the sight of Eye collapsing immediately became a warning to anyone thinking of standing in range with Valentina. But she wasn't the only legendary kicker in the women's divisions. Holly Holm, a former boxing champion with elite striking skills, delivered a knockout so iconic that it changed the entire sport forever. On November 14, 2015, Holly Holm stepped in as a massive underdog against the undefeated superstar Ronda Rousey. Many believed Ronda would dominate again with her judo and armbar, but Holly had different plans. From the opening bell, Holm controlled the striking, kept Ronda off balance with perfect footwork, and eventually landed the head kick heard around the world. The moment the kick landed, Ronda fell instantly, unconscious before she even hit the floor. That knockout didn't just win a title, it ended an era, created a new champion, and became one of the most iconic moments in MMA history, regardless of gender. Just as unforgettable was Amanda Nunes, the most powerful puncher in the women's game, delivering a knockout so vicious that even commentators were shocked. Amanda fought Chris Cyborg on December 29, 2018, in what many called the greatest women's super fight ever. Fans expected a long, violent war between two of the most dangerous fighters alive. Instead, Nunes walked forward and dismantled Cyborg in under a minute. She landed clean power shots one after another, her precision and explosiveness overwhelming the legendary Brazilian until the final right hand knocked Cyborg out cold. Amanda Nunes became a double champion that night, but more importantly, she became feared in a way no female fighter ever had before. When Amanda hits someone clean, the fight ends. Simple as that. Speaking of brutal power, Cris Cyborg herself has delivered some of the coldest knockouts in women's MMA through her long and dominant career. One of her most devastating moments came against Jan Finney in Strikeforce. Cyborg hit Finney with a barrage of punches so heavy that the referee nearly stopped the fight multiple times. Finney tried to stay tough, but the power difference was enormous. Eventually, Cyborg landed a clean right hand that dropped Finney and forced the referee to step in. Cyborg's raw aggression and overwhelming power solidified her as one of the greatest knockout artists in MMA history. Jessica Andrade, with her compact frame and explosive style, also created one of the most shocking knockouts ever seen, her slam KO of Rose Namajunas. Many MMA fans had never witnessed a finish like that in the women's division. Andrade ducked under a clinch, lifted Rose high into the air, turned her mid-slam, and sent her crashing onto her head with devastating force. As soon as Rose hit the mat, her body went completely limp. It was terrifying, unexpected, and instantly became one of the rarest finishes ever recorded. Even today, that slam is replayed as one of the most dangerous finishes in the entire sport. And then there are the spinning attacks, the unpredictable, highlight reel finishers that can end a fight out of nowhere. One of the greatest examples came from Livia Renata Sousa in Invicta FC, landing a spinning back fist that sent her opponent crashing backward in a heap. Spinning techniques are difficult to pull off, especially in high-level fights, but when they land, they create some of the most dramatic knockouts ever captured in MMA. Zhang Weili also produced a legendary spinning knockout that ended Joanna Jędrzejczyk's career. In their second fight, Zhang stepped forward, spun sharply, and cracked Joanna with a perfect back fist. Joanna fell stiff, her body frozen before she hit the canvas. It was heartbreaking for Joanna's fans, but undeniably one of the coldest knockouts the sport had ever seen. Other fighters like Juliana Peña, Irene Aldana, and Germaine de Randamie have produced unforgettable finishes as well. Irene Aldana's upkick to the liver remains one of the rarest knockouts ever achieved. Peña's submission finishes opened doors for her reign as champion. Germaine de Randamie, one of the best kickboxers ever to transition to MMA, handed Aspen Ladd a knockout so fast and so clean that the referee stopped the fight after a single perfectly timed punch. These moments aren't just highlights. They're reminders that women's MMA has evolved into a battlefield where skill, timing, and precision can create darkness in an instant. But what makes knockouts in women's MMA even more special is how they build legacies. A single finish can change a fighter's entire career. Holly Holm became a global superstar overnight with her head kick. Amanda Nunes became the greatest female fighter alive with her knockout streak. Rose Namajunas became a fan favorite because of her ability to produce lightning-fast finishes while staying humble and calm. Zhang Weili's spinning back fist became one of the defining moments of modern MMA. Jessica Andrade's slam became a piece of MMA history that will be replayed for generations. And now Dakota Ditcheva is becoming the next name added to that list. Her knockouts are cold not just because of power, but because of her composure, her timing, and her ability to destroy opponents without showing emotion. Every fight she wins pushes her closer to joining the pantheon of great knockout artists. Dakota brings something rare to the division. She mixes elegance with brutality. She doesn't throw wild punches. She doesn't fight recklessly. Every strike she throws has intention, placement, and purpose. When she lands, the finish looks effortless, almost beautiful in its precision. That's why her highlight reels are going viral around the world. Each knockout adds to the legend she is building. A future superstar, a future champion, and possibly the next fighter to dominate women's MMA for years. She belongs on the same stage as the legends before her, and soon she will carry the sport forward with her own unforgettable moments. Women's MMA is now filled with cold, historic knockouts, each one more impressive than the last. From head kicks to spinning attacks, from powerful punches to body shots that shut fighters down instantly, the sport continues to evolve. These knockouts aren't lucky shots. They are proof of hard work, precision, courage, and elite-level skill. And with rising stars like Dakota Ditcheva carrying the torch into the next era, Fans can expect even more unforgettable moments to come. This is the evolution of women's MMA. No longer underestimated, no longer overlooked, and absolutely capable of producing some of the coldest knockouts the world has ever seen.